Guys, very good afternoon and welcome to today's session wherein we are going to discuss about chapter number 1, role of financial strategy. What is the role of financial strategy? How is this chapter important from a AFM exam perspective? That is what we are going to discuss, and AFM is a very critical paper as far as the CFA professional exams are concerned, and that is what we are going to study with the chapter number 1 today, and then we'll continue with this discussion forward. Now guys, as you can see that this chapter of yours will basically we'll be discussing about what are the strategies which are there, which are generally followed. What do we mean by financial management to increase ultimately the wealth of the shareholders? How do we communicate with various stakeholders? Ethics and the role of ethics in decision making. Sustainability is playing a very important role today, and the importance of triple bottom line reporting. And then what is the role of risk? What do we mean by risk identification, risk measurement, and things like that? And then of course we will end it up with the agency theory, agency conflict, and goal congruence. So that is what is the larger discussion, guys, that we will have today on this slide. And I'm sure you'll find this discussion to be very interesting, and you'll learn several new things as part of this topic, right? So now, guys, if you see, the first important step for any organization is to set its mission. What is the mission of the organization? I'll give you, there are so many organizations, like you must have heard the name of Tesla. Now, what is Tesla trying to do? It is trying to create future ready, sustainable, electric vehicles. If you look at Disney, they are trying to create happiness for the people. If you look at Adidas shoes, right? Nike shoes for athletes, a completely different experience. So that is what is the mission of the organization. So what is a mission? If you see, guys, what is a mission basically trying to do? It is trying to establish the key objectives of the organization. Okay, why does the organization is there? What is the main reason behind the existence of the organization? So it will define the key objectives, or you can say the themes behind the existence of the organization, right? And so the first step basically is to define what is the mission. Why do we exist? What is our role, right? Now, some organization can say that we want to be pioneers in innovation. Some can say that we want to be pioneers in R&D. Some can say that we can be pioneers. We want to be pioneers in employee satisfaction. Some can say that we want to be pioneers in customer satisfaction, or a mix of this. And that is what is, guys, called as a mission statement of any organization. And in order to, set these mission statements of the organization, company, this is generally decided by the top team. Okay, generally it is decided by the top team, top leadership of the organization, but sometimes they can also call suggestions. Let's say if they are building the mission of the organization, or if they are trying to rebuild the mission of the organization, they can also involve or invite comments from the let's say the middle management. All right, or the junior staff as well, or you can say the shop floor team, right? Many organizations today focus on sustainability as part of their mission, and then you know what, organizations will decide on their organizational goals. In order to achieve these missions, what is our organizational goal? How do we wish to achieve these mission? What is our organizational goal? What is the larger goal that we want to achieve this mission? That is what the organization will decide. And then after that, to achieve those goals, they will formulate accordingly the strategies, right? So let's say one of the mission of the company is customer satisfaction. All right. One of the biggest aim of the organization is to have maximum satisfaction for the customers. So they will build their organizational goals accordingly. and then they will set their strategies accordingly. Like, how can we satisfy the customer better, faster? What can we do to satisfy the customer, to break the monotony, to break the chain, to bring some innovation, so that these strategies can help achieve the mission of the organization. And this mission, my friends, will guide the strategies of the organization. So strategies help you to achieve the mission help you to achieve the set strategies, or set the strategies, right? So that's what is the role of a AFM. This entire thing is what is the role of a AFM. A guy, or or if you are working in an organization, this is what is your main role. So strategies are the plans that will help you to achieve the goals and objectives, right? Okay, so I hope this is clear and understood. And guys, from a AFM perspective, it becomes very important for us. What is really important for us is financial management. Manage the finances of the organization. And how can we do this? We can do this by following proper financial strategies. Now, what kind of financial strategies we can formulate? Let's say a proper investment policy of the company, correct? Where to invest the money, where not to invest the money, which projects to be taken first, which projects to be taken second, and so on and so forth. So deciding on the investment policy of the company, which projects we should take and why we should take, when, how much we need to invest, when we will recover our money. These are the some of the important things that they will determine. And thereafter, guys, what becomes important is the financing policy. Now, what do we mean by financing policy is where will we get our money from, right? Will we get our money from equity? Will we get our money from debt? Will we get our money from, let's say, short-term borrowings, long-term borrowings? What is the financing policy of the organization? And if you look at the final aspect, so guys, this includes what will be the dividend policy of the company, right? What will be the dividend policy of the organization? And all these three, my friends, if you look at the investment policy, financing policy, dividend policy, all these three, along with proper internal controls. What do you mean by internal controls? That there are proper checks and balances, right? So that there are proper checks and balances to ensure that there are proper internal controls. We follow these strategies along with proper checks and balances to achieve financial management. That is what is the objective, guys, that we are trying to achieve, and that is what is the key role of a AFM. So what is the, if you see in a nutshell, what is the key role of a AFM? So a key role of the AFM is to guide the organization to make proper investments, to raise the money in a prudent manner, so that it decreases the cost of capital, right? What is the main role of a AFM? To reduce the cost of capital, to reduce the cost of borrowing of the company. And here, what is the role? To increase the, let's say, the returns, right? If you are making the investment, the key role is to increase the returns. And then is to dividend. What do we mean by dividend? Is to maximize the wealth of shareholders. It's as simple as that. Ultimately, why are we running this organization? If you see, we are running this organization to increase the returns, to decrease the cost of borrowings for the company, and to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. Along with proper internal controls that will help you to achieve financial management, and that is what is the key role of a AFM. That is what is the key role of ACCA. Am I clear and understood by all of you, right? Guys, I hope you are getting this and you are finding this discussion to be interesting. Now, if you see, so in financial management theory, the main objective of the organization, as I told you guys, is to increase the wealth of the shareholders. How can we increase the wealth of the shareholder? And if you see, guys, wealth basically of the shareholders will come from two parts. The first is called as the dividend and the another one is called as the share price growth. So how can we increase the dividends, and how can we how will the share price increase? Ultimately, these two will contribute to the total shareholders return. I hope this is clear and understood. So main objective, if you see guys, is to increase the wealth of the shareholders. What is wealth? Basically, the shareholders will get dividends and the share price will increase. So these are the largely, one can say, the two main uh, objectives, okay, to maximize, or two main ways, or two main, so that's what the shareholder is trying to look at. Why is he giving money to the company? Now, even if you think, if you are the equity investor, correct? If you are the equity investor in a company, why are you making this investment? You are making this investment to maximize your wealth. And this wealth, guys, is coming basically from share price increase and from dividends. Answer. All right. So I hope this is clear and understood by all of you, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Now, if you see, so basically to achieve the increase in wealth, we need to have proper communication and proper discussion with all the stakeholders. Now, if you see, guys, the word stakeholder has been used here. Who are the key stakeholders in any organization? If you see, the key stakeholders are employees, because they are working in the company, they are looking for career growth, salaries. And then the next stakeholder is called as the banks, because they have given you the money, they have given you debt, they have given you capital, so they are looking at repayment of money, they are looking at interest repayment and things like that. And then guys, the another stakeholder which is there is the shareholders. As we just discussed in the previous slide, that the shareholders are looking at dividend, share price increases, etc., etc., right? And then if you see, you have got government, who is also a key shareholder there, or a stakeholder in the organization. Then you have got society, correct? The social obligation. Then you have got various other, let's say, the creditors, correct? Then another is media. So all these will play a very important role, guys, and we need to have a proper communication with them. We need to understand what is the purpose, what kind of information do they want, what is the medium of communication with each one of them, because you can't communicate in a similar manner with all of them. So there will be a different way of communication with employees, different way of medium, and the pattern of communication with banks, shareholders, government, society, your media, and your creditors. So there is a different way and form, and the language that you talk has to be very different, because employees, you will speak in a different tone, so you'll try to address their concerns, their needs, depending. And there's a very beautiful matrix which we will study later on, is called as the Mendelow's matrix, wherein he tries to define that how do you identify the which stakeholder has to be satisfied in what manner. So that is what they try to explain in that matrix. So in this slide, guys, we are trying to discuss about the ways of communication, and that communication, if you see, plays a very important role. You have to communicate with your stakeholders. If you don't communicate, let me tell you a few instances, and that will maybe help you understand this topic better. So if you don't communicate with your employees, if you don't discuss with your employees, they will leave. If you don't properly communicate with the banks, then they may not be willing to give you more capital. If you don't communicate properly with the shareholders, if you don't discuss your results with them, if you don't discuss your challenges, your how you are trying to remedify the challenges, then they will not invest in your company. Government may impose taxes, society, there will be societal backlashes, like we have had in the case of Maggie, which all of you are aware of. Then creditors, if you don't pay them on time, they will not give you the raw materials, and then media will start publishing wrong about your factories, wrong about your organization, and this will thereafter result in reputational damage. right or wrong, which is again very difficult to course correct then. So it is always better for the organization to have a very healthy dialogue with all the stakeholders, very healthy discussion, transparent discussion, and to take care of their wants and needs and interest, right? So I hope guys this is clear, and thank you so much.